Professional astronomers who work in this area just put out the call. Anybody with a small telescope and the right kind of camera, please take pictures of this object at this time. And with the help of a bunch of amateur astronomers, we learned that this object had an atmosphere, and we would not have been able to do that without all this assistance from the community of folks with small telescopes. So Christopher Palma, I'm a teaching professor in the Department of Astronomy and Astrophysics at Penn State University. There's a type of observation, it's really rare. It doesn't happen a lot, but it all boils down to things that are close to us appear to move faster than things that are far away. So you can have an asteroid, the moon, a planet pass in front of a star from our point of view. And if the moon passes in front of a star, the star winks out. And then as soon as the moon passes by, the star winks back and we can see it again. So there was this really exciting discovery where some people who buy telescopes to use in their backyard. So these are not $1 million telescopes. They're $1,000 telescopes. They're using cameras that cost a few $100s. They point at stars and they wait for a rock to pass in front of the star and make it disappear. What happened though, we watched as this distant object passed in front of a star, and instead of the star disappearing and then reappearing, it slowly disappeared, and then it was completely gone, and then it slowly came back up. And the only way that can happen is if this small little ball of rock and ice has an atmosphere around it. So this is only the second object we know of out in the same region as Pluto that has an atmosphere, and they really shouldn't. And so now we have to figure out, why does this thing have an atmosphere? So we have an atmosphere, right? Earth, we're fortunate. It's perfect for us. It keeps us alive. You've probably heard that, Venus has this atmosphere that is incredibly harsh. It's made of sulfuric acid. Mars has this very thin atmosphere that's made of mostly carbon dioxide. So to astronomers who are searching for how do planets form, can we form another Earth-like object out there in space? We need to know, how do atmospheres form? Where do they come from? What keeps them from disappearing? And in the outer solar system, out where Pluto is, it's so cold that any gases that are on these objects should freeze out. And so we do not expect there to be an atmosphere. And yet here's this ball of ice and rock that has one. And so the excitement is, well, if that thing can have an atmosphere, maybe it is easier for these objects to have atmospheres than we really thought. Lots of people love to just go out stargazing, right? They go sit in a field and look up and look at the stars. And then sometimes people get the bug and they're like, okay, I'm going to buy myself a telescope. I'm going to look at the moon. But people ask us all the time, okay, I have this telescope. What can I do with it? There's actually a lot of ways you can contribute to research. You can do these occultation observations. Just about every star in the sky at some level is getting brighter or fainter. It's varying a little bit. So there's a worldwide network of variable star observers. And so people look for impacts on the moon. You can look for objects hitting the moon. So if you have a telescope and you want to get involved in research, there's a way for you to do that with any small telescope in just about any part of the world. Occultation is just another word for eclipse. It's one object passing in front of another. But amazingly enough, we can actually learn about the shape of things, the size of these things. We can learn a lot just by watching the one object pass in front of the other. If this sounds interesting to you, occultations actually happen pretty frequently. There's lots of places on the internet, through NASA, through amateur astronomy organizations, where you can find lists of occultations. And if you want to go watch a star wink out because something passed in front of it, it's easy to find, and it's easy to figure out when and where to look.